The movie begins with a family consisting of Priska, Guy, Trent, and Maddox embarking on a tropical vacation to a seemingly perfect island paradise. They are warmly greeted by the resort manager and offered complimentary cocktails as part of the welcome party. Trent also encounters Idlib, a local boy who seems to hold a mysterious secret about the island. As night falls, the family's hidden struggles come to light. Guy and Priska reveal that they are on the verge of divorce, making this trip their last family vacation with their children. Additionally, Priska has been quietly battling a long-standing illness. During breakfast the following morning, the resort manager invites the family to visit a secluded beach on the island's nature preserve, away from the crowds. A sudden tragedy strikes when Patricia, a middle-aged woman, has a seizure. Her boyfriend Jaron, who is a nurse, along with a man named Charles, who appears to be a doctor, rush to her aid. He advises them to let her rest for a while until she regains consciousness. Charles's family, consisting of Crystal, Agnes, and Kara, are also invited to the secluded beach. The group is eventually driven to the beach's entrance and are also given a lot of food by the resort. The driver doesn't help them get there but advises them on the route they need to take. After a short walk, upon reaching the main attraction, they are met with a stunning view but are enclosed by intimidating steep stone walls. While exploring, the group encounters a mysterious traveler on the beach, who turns out to be a famous rapper, Sedan. Maddox and Trent discover rusted knives and abandoned toys, but Priska urges them to steer clear and ignore their findings since a cut from the knife would need immediate medical attention. Tragedy strikes as a drowned body is found, and it is revealed to be the missing girlfriend of the rapper. The group is bewildered by the incident, and Charles accuses the rapper of being his girlfriend's killer, partly due to his persistent nosebleeds. Shortly afterward, Jaron and Patricia arrive at the beach, and the situation is explained to them. The group is determined to return to the resort, but Charles's attempt to explore a cave leaves him dizzy and unconscious, and he somehow ends up back at the shore, indicating that they can't return the way they came. Suddenly, Charles's mother stops breathing and he rushes to her aid. She tells him to take care of the remaining folks as they need him and she inexplicably dies soon after. Charles blames Sedan for this as he thinks the dead body caused her to go into shock. Things take a bizarre turn when Priska approaches Charles, realizing that something is wrong with her kids, who have rapidly aged about 5 years in just a couple of hours. Priska is certain that they are sick and must have ingested something on the island, which has made them look much older than they really are. Fearing the beach's effects, Charles decides to get to safety, but he and Sedan are both thrown back to the beach upon entering the cave entrance. The group comes to the grim realization that there is no escape through the tunnel. A shocking moment occurs when the doctor attacks Sedan with a knife. He apologizes as he thinks he was about to be attacked and everyone seems to be on edge due to the incident, but the wound miraculously heals in seconds. Jaron suggests swimming against the currents to find another shore, but the group is unwilling to take the risk. Priska also advises her daughter to change her clothes as her body is growing so rapidly. They hold a meeting to address their situation. Patricia suspects that the kids are reacting to viruses, which explain their rapid aging. Patricia realizes that she hasn't had a seizure even though she's not taken her medication but shakes it off thinking that it's a side effect of the beach's weird properties. Priska soon starts to feel sick and Guy discloses that his wife has a benign tumor in her belly, which, under the beach's influence, is growing rapidly. He adds that it's supposed to be about 3 centimeters long, but Jaron claims it's nearly the size of a softball. Priska collapses unexpectedly, and Jaron discovers that the tumor is still developing. We now know that going to the beach not only influences their age, but also their physical state, particularly disease progression. Desperate to save her, Charles performs a surgery to remove the tumor. The group recalls that a wound will heal instantly after some time. They all work together and hold open the wound, and even though it starts healing around their fingers, they manage to remove the tumor from her stomach, and Priska soon wakes up and feels much better. All the while Charles keeps getting distracted and confused as though he's suffering from some mental illness. Then Sedan examines his girlfriend's body, only to discover that her body has completely decomposed in only 3 hours, which is unusually quick. A body exposed to the sun and germs should take approximately 7 years to decompose, meaning that there is something really wrong. The group soon realizes that time passes differently on the beach, causing rapid physical changes, especially in those with underlying medical conditions. They also discover that the beach accelerates aging. But they notice that hair and nails aren't affected because they are composed of dead cells. Sedan also demonstrates that spending 60 minutes on that beach is equal to 2 years in the real world. As a result, everyone will age by about 50 years in a single day. Another tragedy occurs while Trent and Kara are having fun together in the tent. They start having deep conversations about how their bodies have changed and how their thoughts are more clear. When everybody walks back, they notice that Kara is already 5 months pregnant, and with their calculation, she's going to give birth in the next 20 minutes. Looking at this, her mother panics and tries to pass through the cave to get help, but she wakes up back on the beach. The others prepare to help her give birth, but the child soon dies due to a lack of attention. Looking at this, Trent has a breakdown that he just lost his newborn son. The situation is becoming increasingly tense. Charles's worsening schizophrenia forces him to savagely attack Sedan once more. He stabs him multiple times and Sedan passes away soon after. A paranoid Charles then isolates himself from the group in a corner, concerned that everyone is against him. Jaren claims to have been on the swim team and offers to swim across the sea in the hope of finding some help. Guy then realizes that they were chosen to go to the beach on purpose since they all have a resemblance, which is that they all have medical records. Later on, Maddox confronts her mother about her affair and, heartbroken, decides to go out for a swim. She accidentally discovers Jaren's dead body on the other side, presumably drowning. Mourning over the death of her child, Kara decides to climb the massive stone wall, hoping to find answers on the other side. While the others beg her not to, she continues to do so, but she goes unconscious and falls to her death. Witnessing this, Trent breaks down once more, as he just lost his son and the girl he loved. Out of nowhere, Patricia suffers from epilepsy and passes away while the horrible episode progresses. Priska and Guy immediately begin to feel the physical impacts of the beach, as she struggles to hear conversations from her left ear and Guy begins to lose his sight. On entering one of the caves, Maddox and Trent notice Crystal crying in the corner. On flashing the light on her, she begs them not to look at her. Her bones begin to crack and bend and she also perishes as a result of hypocalcemia. Maddox and Trent discover a notepad from the last traveler among the chaos of the group attempting to flee the beach. Trent also notices a camera at the pinnacle of the mountain, indicating that they are being watched all the time. Charles goes insane and assaults Priska and Guy. He maliciously cuts and stabs Guy, claiming that they are all out to get him and have him fired from his job. Luckily, Priska manages to pick up the rusted knife from the previous scene and cuts Charles with it. The rust from the knife poisons his blood and spreads throughout his body, giving him a painful death due to tetanus. Priska, Guy, Trent, and Maddox are the only survivors so far. As the night comes to an end, an elderly Guy and Priska make apologies for their mistakes in the relationship and cherish each other's presence on the beautiful beach. Soon, Guy breathes his last breath. As his family hugs him in despair, Priska also walks to the beach and passes away. Only the now adult Maddox and Trent remain on the beach, and the next morning, the both of them decide to build sand castles together. Trent realizes he hasn't decoded the message given to him by Idlib. The message mentions an underwater coral channel, which they believe will allow them to depart the beach without losing consciousness. They begin swimming through the coral. But unfortunately, Maddox's clothing becomes entangled in a coral, and they battle to leave the sea after failing to emerge from it. A resort staff who is keeping an eye on them from the top of the mountain, claims that the entire gang has passed away. It has been reported that the resort is being used by a research team from Warren Pharmaceutical, to perform clinical studies of new medications, with their guests suffering from medical ailments acting as unwitting test subjects. Because the beach inherently accelerates the aging of its visitors, the researchers were able to complete medication lifetime trials in just one day. One of the researchers says that they recently prevented epilepsy in Patricia by administering medication in her drink. Patricia, who had suffered from debilitating seizures her entire life, managed to prevent an epilepsy episode for around 8 hours and 17 minutes at the beach, or about 16.5 years in the real world. Following that incident, the manager begins to greet the next batch of visitors, but is abruptly interrupted by the entrance of Trent and Maddox, who survived their underwater dive. Using the notebook as evidence of several missing people, they are able to bring the police to the resort. Trent and Maddox had nowhere to go once the researchers were apprehended. The plot twist of this film is disclosed at the very end. The resort serves as a cover for Warren Pharmaceuticals. The hotel manager is the leader of a team of researchers who have been serving drinks that are actually experimental medications to visitors with physical medical conditions. Priska, Charles, Patricia, and Sedan were picked expressly for their ailments. The scientists could track their health and how the medications worked over time. The trials themselves are relatively new. However, the group of people brought to the beach in the film are labeled Trial 73, indicating that the tests have been undertaken for the 73rd time and in the beach's unique aging effect. That's all, folks. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Have a great day.